Amen. Hi, everybody. This is Joanna. Thank you so much for tuning in. And we're calling in the angels, and we're calling in the fairies, and we're calling in the gnomes. We're calling in all the beings of holy light, Gaia consciousness, the Elohim, the Christ consciousness, councils of light, galactic federation, the archangels, the ascended masters, the Holy Mother and Father, the source creator spirit, all that is in the highest benevolent light programs. And we're going to allow ourselves to be in oneness and enjoy. And all of our creations are sacred creations. We're going to talk about sacredness today. We're going to talk about the excitement of who we are, the soul that we are, and the miracles that occur as we allow our renewal of all that we are as light to continue its self-renewal. In the flow of all that we are is this beautiful dome of light, the beehive that is us, that I was shown a few years ago in the dentist chair while I was having some dental work done. And my teams, for some reason, gave me these prophetic messages and images that I've drawn up in illustration. They were showing me what was occurring at that time in the Ascension dynamic for a multiverse perspective, and how our universe is in the. This is just an example of where our universe sat in the middle of two other universes. One other universe was a higher, slightly higher vibrational experience, co-creative, and ours was in the middle, and then there was a lower vibrational experience. We say lower only in the way that we understand it, although in the grander scheme of things, it's not really what it is. They're just progressive evolutionary experiences up the ladder, if you will, at the multiverse omnipresent perspective. And it's no different than us. We always talk about the micro-macro, meaning that from the top down, as we've often explained in our illustrations. My teams are wanting me to be a little bit more honoring of all the work that I've created, and making sure that I'm putting all of my stuff out there, because it's been a really great experience for me. Just about 15 years of really progressive ascension work, and I've been just insatiable about my knowledge and my thirst for awakening and who I am, and the gifts that I brought forward to accelerate. And so all of the illustrations that we've created, the 3 Ascension books that we've created, are going to be going into a new dynamic for us that will be up and running soon. So all of our websites that we've created from 15 years plus is now going to be introduced into a new website that will create a whole new set of offerings. And so we've been busy in the process of organizing. It will be very simplified, but all of our illustrations and all of our documentation will go into an online store. And those that so desire, that would like to be a part of the learning network and use our illustrations and classes and teachings, they can always get in touch with me for written approval for the use of the documentations. Just that we're ensuring that all of our work that we've created through all of the years will keep its vibrational integrity, which is really important. It is the Christ consciousness that we channel, and it's important that they're really wanting me to be really progressive in how I'm placing myself out there, which is new for me, but I'm really excited too, because I'm now starting to own all of the work. It's been 24/7 for the last 15 years that I've been, remembering who I am as a sage and as a seer and as an orator, a sacred scribe, master, teacher, shaman, all of these beautiful multidimensional omnipresent beings that I've been, is now coming into the present now moment, so that as a divine feminine, I can reawaken new threads that are already within the grids that I've placed there for myself, which is what we're going to talk about in the renewal of the soul, because it's mind-boggling. And I heard this really a long time ago, but from the top-down experience, this is what it looks like. We're just these fields of light, and in the all that we are, we're having multidimensional now experiences. So every moment that we are in this now moment, renewing the light of who we are in the new now moment with source, joyful play, acceleration in our playfulness of excited exploration, that's the sacred child coming to life, then we allow all these timelines in that moment to receive the benefit of our awakening in sacred remembrance. Now, one thing that I was told many years ago by the Pleiadians is that this aspect perhaps might be moving through a similar experience that would require the information that was just cleared and just awakened to that space that was cleared for the acknowledgement of who you are as the all, the acceptance of who you are as the all, the allowance of all that you are, the forgiveness and the compassion that we offer ourselves in those big clearings. But this this aspect, because it has its own unique perspective, life, and its soul's journey, although it's open to its allness through that clearing that you've just offered to the all that you are within this now moment, it still has that free will to take on that wisdom and knowledge or not. So it's always, again, that free will experience, or that perspective of you has it in its field, if you will. And that's why as the various aspects of the sacred geometry that you are clear and cleanse and refine your light body, there's higher aspects of us in their sacred geometry perspective, because it's all unique. Remember, just like the fingerprint, just like the voice, it's all unique. The vibration of each and every one of us on planet Earth, along with all other aspects of life, has a unique, specific vibration. My vibration is unlike anyone else's. Therefore, the work that I create, the work that I produce, is unlike any others. So too is anybody else's. But what we're saying to that effect is that that unique vibration has the potentiality to open up to what was just offered in this one. And same with all other life that you hold, the bodies that you hold, the timelines that you hold, the realms that you hold, the dimensional frequencies that you hold, that every aspect that you've taken in this now moment, it's all now, it's all you, different realms, different planets, different skins, different bodies, different purposes. The all soul of you is opening to that benevolent, open self-love aspect that you've just allowed yourself to tap into. And again, it's always based on the unconditional love, the Christ consciousness, which is that Metatronic light code, that sacred geometry that we're continually refining, stepping up into new cycles of vibrational experience, potentiation. And therefore, all of those other aspects that might be on, we'll say, a higher vibrational thread, just as this being right here would go through an incredible awakening and therefore a cleansing of its sacred geometry light perspective, the fragment that it looks like in its own unique fractal, that fractal of that sacred geometry piece, then would ripple down through all other vibrations, and I would have access to that information, and it becomes active in my field and in my DNA and bodies. Me, in my awakening, I can then choose with my teams based on where I'm at in my soul's perspective. If I'm in a cycle of awakening, if I'm in a cycle of integration, if I'm in a cycle of release, if I'm in a cycle of stagnancy, all of those are aspects of our cycle. Again, if we're in stagnancy, then we won't open up to what's in our field. There's an infinite number of things in our field, but if we're not awake to it because we're in stagnancy, depressed and suppressed energy fields and chakras, then we won't have the ability to awaken to what's in our field and in the DNA. If, however, you've done that daily self-care and you're constantly in that progression of, yes, I'm excited to explore all that I am, the process of enlightenment, your remembrance of oneness as source, you're ready to reach up to that code and grab it within your field and within your bodies and within the DNA that's ready to be activated. It's really incredible. And that's where that renewal of your source light is always in the benevolent play. And it comes up as they showed me in I have a GIF or a GIF, however it's pronounced. So I had my illustrator create a GIF at that point of what I had seen in the dentist chair of the three universes that were moving up into one another. And why it's so important that Earth is such a big party in that, because we are the farthest most planet within our galactic experience, and because it's of the greatest density of fear and control programs, the more that we awaken into our allness as sovereign and liberated beings, we're clearing the field of all that we are. Therefore, all those fractal experiences, micro-macro within the all, every aspect of me is sending out that unconditional love and confidence in all that I am being and becoming to all aspects of me. So you might see a lot of, I've called the angels and the fairies. And so what I'm doing now on our videos is I'm putting the fairy tracker on our videos of when they happen in our videos. So if you really want to, when you get excited to, if you're seeing fairies and stuff, jot across the screen and the energies, jot across the screen, just put that in your comments and your notes, the fairy tracker and energy tracker. So I always invite them in to be a part of our experience, and they're very excited to be with us. So thank you. And so that's what they were showing me, that the energy comes from above, from below and up and out, from below and up and out, and why it's so important for us to complete that cycle of breath, grounding into Gaia and up through our pillar of light. We're reaching up to the heavens for the new codes, calling it down through our pillar of light, clearing and cleansing all of our chakras and grounding into Gaia, completing the circuit of breath, completing that cycle of breath, completing that cycle of oneness with source. Clearing and cleansing what no longer serves, releasing what no longer serves, releasing the toxic energies, suppressive, stagnant energies, releasing it from your systems and breathing into the new, receiving the new. That's the divine feminine, is that receipt. And there's always that potentiation in the cycle of all that you are as this beautiful vessel of light to renew all that you are as your light and your soul. I'm calling in my soul to release. I'm so grateful to be with my soul. I'm an honor to be of my soul. I'm honored to be in oneness with my soul. That harmonization of your acknowledgement, your acceptance, and your allowance of all that you are as sacred light, a vessel of unconditional, limitless, eternal light. You are continually renewing yourself within thyself, renewing thyself within thyself, renewing thyself within thyself, renewing thyself within thyself. And those are the harmonizations that you can take commandmentship of. And what they gave me today was that there is always a presence of renewal within the soul. And as each and every soul aspect honors itself to reach out and press out for evolution, you will receive that equal opportunity of light code, as we talked about earlier. That part of me that just went through a clearing and an ascension is now offering that light capacity, that song, that vibration, that harmonic to me in my light field. And then as this one body of sacred geometry, even unique parts as well, because we just offered that it's each unique. Our souls, our purposes are each unique, but that I would require that in my work because it's just like an elegant. We can't explain the dynamic of the intricacies and the threading and the beautiful uniqueness of how genuine and how beautiful each and every one of us are. Because it's in the uniqueness of every soul fractal that offers to the other. And it's like these beautiful threads of harmonics that allow each of the other fractals to be also in alignment, if it so chooses. And so what they were showing me is if there is any, like we experienced in my particular path, I experienced many years of suppression and stagnancy because of cycles just repeating themselves. And it was putting depressive states of stagnancy on my energy systems, physical, mental, emotional, etheric. And they were showing me that your light body is not moving. It's stagnant. We need to activate and we need to shake what's going on because it's affecting all the other fractals of me. And so that's when they started teaching me about the compromising of your light and how important it is that we take the wholeness of all that we are into consideration, all that we are, the environments, the stimulation, the nurturance, not only what we intake in our bodies, but everything, the type of entertainment that we take in, it all affects, it's all vibrational. And it's really, really important, those of us that are crystals, those of us that have that sacred geometry to press out new codes, it's really important that we press out new codes to ensure that we are expressing fully, that we are experiencing fully, we're exploring thoroughly, and we're allowing all that we are as the divine vessel of allness to be in the highest capacity of fluid completion of light cycling. The cycle of light, it's a song, it's harmonic through the cycle that is breath, that is the allness, that is the joy, the love of source creator, of spirit. And I'm going to be doing many more. I'm so excited there's so much that I've got on my agenda for this year to really start exploring all that I've experienced, now that I'm pressing into this new dynamic of, leadership and teaching for the light body and what it means for the importance of humanity to be in balance and wellness and co-creation in that way, to manifest in co-creation in that way, and how it's really, really important for us. And so we're so excited. And so that allows us to step into, understanding how we renew ourselves within our oneness with our soul, and understanding the importance of our soul. And our soul is in constant communication with us. Our soul will constantly align. We're going to go back to what we said earlier. See it always threading back and forth. That you as the soul, all that you are, and I heard about this many, many years ago, and it just threw me for a spin because I didn't at that time understand. I didn't have this diagram at that time to understand the allness of now, because we're so used to the paradigms and the delineation of time, past, present, and future. So as we step into the 5D, it all becomes now. As the soul of all that we are, and of course it goes beyond this. This is just what we can explain in one picture. The soul is a multidimensional perspective of who you are at all timelines, all realms. For this particular body that you sign on to experience a particular soul's blueprint with the source, your soul's promise to source, the Holy Mother, the Holy Father, Spirit, co-creators, for your creative contribution for the soul growth, for the soul exploration and expression of who you are as a unique being. And everyone is unique. Every single aspect of you is a unique experience. And so in this new beginning, we're breaking the threshold of anything that humanity we've gone for, to create the benevolent now moment, to be beyond what was, because it's new. There has never been a new now with all that we are in culmination. And it's hard to grasp. It's hard to grasp because many years ago when I thought about this now new and what it meant to me visually, I didn't have this at the time to grasp. You as the soul will leave you, and with the creator, with Gaia, the Elohim, the Christ collective, the angels, all the beings and consciousness that work with us, because as you awaken and you entangle and choose through your free will and right, say, I'm going to start entangling with source, I'm going to start, and you get that excitement and exploration, you're pressing out your consciousness, your soul will leave you, has left you, if you will, in higher versions of you, those signs and symbols and synchronicities and meetings and beings, and we call them, the synchronicities, to remind you of the path that you're on. And are you going left, or are you going right? Or are you staying in the middle? The version of you, the allness of you, is saying, I've left you this, and this. And it's up to us and our exploration, excitement of who we are. It will always be that remembrance of who we are as the wholeness. And why there's many sacred sites on this planet that so many of us, light workers, crystals, grid workers, get activated in those sacred sites, because they're parts of us that we have left there in remembrance, those codes that we have placed in there, consciousness we have placed in there. And it also is no different than the consciousness that has been left in places of worn-torn experiences. There's negative energies consciousness, and there's positive energy consciousness, and then there's neutral as well, and all things in between, because it's all source. It's a planet that's going through diverse transition. So us awakening into the renewal of all that we are, we get to co-create those new codes in our templates. And I'm so excited. This is the constant renewal that we have, because now we're awake that we are one with our planet, that we have actually more to say and more to entangle with, more to dance with, and more to co-create with than we ever thought possible. Now is the time where all realms, all aspects of us come into this constant state of renewal, and we get to co-create brand new. We get to place these profound energies and codes of our excitement into the all, which is really, really needed, because part of what the collective is going through is kind of like this sleepy state of waking up from a really long dream, and you get that really groggy feeling. That's what's going on with so many that are not yet quite awakened, because when you have those accesses of light that stimulate the awakening, light stimulates, harmonic stimulates the cells, breaks off the density in calcium, and it allows you to receive that light that has always been there, that has always been in the grids, it's always been in the nature, that's always been everywhere. So if the energies that have been so suppressive and depressive, and they come from many different facts, and we're not going to go into it because then it inspires so many to go seeking those conspiracy theories about just spiraling in circles of density and who did what and what's doing who and who's doing, it doesn't matter. What matters is that we focus on the light and focus on what really gets us excited, because that breaks over all of those conspiracy theories. It'll all come up anyways. Anything that has been hidden, any program, any dynamic that any body of control wants to perpetuate, it will all come forward, because light is more powerful than any program. Because that is where the story is right now, is that we are breaking away from programs of density and control. And of course, yes, that's where our planet has been for eons. And yes, of course, that is still experienced. That's what we're leaving. And it doesn't serve us to continue the arguments and the pointing of the fingers. What serves us is understanding the all that you are, continually renewing the all that you are, and following in your own unique essence of who you are for your excitement, expression, and exploration of what do you want to create? What has been? Where are you now? What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? In that experiential experience, what does that aspect of you feel like, see like, experience, and really feel into it vibration? What do I feel like when I'm in that state of my allness, of my highest version of me? Being a part of that experiential, collective, higher vibrational consciousness that is pushing out the collective energy to reach up and reach out, where we're breaking the threshold of what used to be the limitations and the patterns and the programs, so that we actually start new programs of infinite potentiality pressing out with no walls and no ceilings. It's an open dynamic. And so we're really, really excited about that. I mean, why not, right? I'm just trying to get this on. Thank you. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. And it allows us to really tap into the allness that we are. And so what they were showing me yesterday, and I don't think I've talked about this before. I've talked about many times because it's been such a huge clearing. Everybody's going through huge clearing when we're releasing all the densities. But what happens when you're actually taking on the ascended part of you, those higher vibrational aspects of you? Because there's the higher vibrational aspects of you and there's lower vibrational aspects of you. And it's not a qualitative or quantitative when I say higher and lower. And those of you that know our offerings understand that. But there are aspects of you that are in ascension. And you can open up to those aspects of light as they're being harmonized and integrated with all that you are. And I actually went through one quite recently. I've been through a couple actually quite recently. And they're very unusual. And they're very uncomfortable because your body is getting used to a whole new set of light that it wasn't used to a minute before. And that's where it's really important as part of your daily self-care to integrate activity and exercise programs so that you're allowing those greater pockets or packets of light. I call them packets of light because that's how it feels. It's like a code that gets fanned into all that you are, because the physicality of us is an illusion, but it still, because it's matter to us in our reality, we are learning about matter as light and light as matter through our sciences and our spirituality. Ascension is spiritual growth. Who are we as spiritual beings? And it transcends religion, because religion has placed dogma and limitations and packages, if you will, around spirit, and that's not spirit. It can be experienced in that, and there's no judgment, there's no wrong or right to it. But spirituality as the all that you are, the soul of all that you are, as a spiritual being, spirit means spirit, essence, consciousness, source, creators, God, creator of all that is, the all of you and all your fragments of aspects. And we say fragments, not that it is less than in a quantitative experience, because it's not. It's an aspect of you that's ready to be threaded into a new allness. And this is where we really are allowing our minds to step out of the lower vibrational paradigms that the words have been used within, because it's now being offered in a 5-dimensional perspective. Those aspects are just like those in your family that are coming into a family dinner. They're still your family. They're still your communion that you gather with and you laugh with and you co-create with. They're very unique. They're very unique in their offering to you and the reflection and the lessons we teach one another. And that's no different than the soul fragments and aspects. We say soul fragments because it's been used to, in the 3 to 4D, been harmonized as the fragments between 3 and 5D that have been traumatic, painful, lives ending shortly, lessons that did not get finished and learned, karma attached with it. But that will change when we reach into a 5D. There will be aspects that will be whole. There will be aspects of us that will be ascended. And that's what I've been experiencing lately, those higher packets of light at a higher vibrational experience that are threaded back into the physical matter of all that you are, the multidimensional matter of all that you are. And it feels as if it's very beautiful. You know, it's a new part of you that's coming on saying, wow, hi, how are you? You know, what part am I working with here? And it's those parts where you and your soul, as we talked about earlier, and this is where you might have to go back and listen to it a few times, because there's always things that we're offering back and forth because it's all in our threading. The aspect of you that perhaps you're going on a new experience and you're wanting to create something new for yourself. You're wanting to step into, say, a new job or a new excitement for creative endeavor, or maybe you want to take a course. Whatever it is that you and your soul know, your higher self knows is coming next for you. We say next, but it's all now. And you will need that gift, that skill, that quality to do what you're going to do in a beautiful way. Remember, again, this goes far, and I've written about this so many times, because this is where I really love how I've come here. My passion to teach is because it's such a beautiful and elegant design. And what is the grace of God? It's so simple, it's so beautiful, and everything is always provided for you. You will always have what you need when you need it. And that's the trust of being source creator. The soul of all that you are is beautiful soul love. So anything that you're excited to do, it will always be provided for you. The universe will always support you. The universe will always be there for you. The universe will always be there comforting you in the most benevolent, loving way, because your soul is infinite. So whatever it is you want to explore, go for it. It will always be provided through codes, through activations, through assimilations, through the integration of your higher aspects and your most expansive aspects, depending on where you want to create. This is what is so profound. Even though you may have a soul blueprint, you can jet off in a million different ways once you've done your karma clearing, of course, because, I mean, you still can even though you've done your karma clearing. But when you're going into those higher vibrational codes of experience, there's an infinite number of things that, again, as we said earlier, breaks beyond the threshold. Whereas if we would have had, say, a myriad of experiences, we call them roles and names and ideas, if we will. But in 5D, there won't be any of that because it's new. We've never experienced it. For instance, if you wanted to step into a role as a leader, that leader could be an infinite number of things. It will not look like what it was in 3D. It won't. It won't. Therefore, the qualities of the leader in the mastery experience will be completely different than what it was, in the 3D. And there's no qualitative or quantitative experience and judgment with it in comparison, because it's not. There is no comparison. It's a different experience, different you, different version of you, different reality, different earth. But what we're saying is that the thresholds that we break are completely open and infinite. And your soul can completely renewing itself in light, you taking that commandmentship, that leadership, that affirmation, that working with your daily self-care, honoring your oneness with source and spirit, you're always going to have those light codes activated to you. And you can, in and of yourself, say, I'm ready to take on this. I really have, through my own inner work and through my own work with me and source and my teams and me, this is what I really want to connect with right now. Is I want to have that remembrance of being an ambassador of peace, or being a tonic healer, being a shaman, energy healer, whatever it is that you're excited to co-create with, because your teams will, again, as we said earlier, you're going to give you threads of signs and symbols and synchronicities for you to keep following that path of energy, because you knew that that's where your highest excitement would be, where all of your gifts from all of you that is a soul is going to perpetuate you into this culmination of this beautiful loving soup for you to offer creation, and it's pressing out. Again, it's always a threaded, beautiful dance and elegance that we at this level do not have the capabilities, other than through those of us that can see in a various vibrational and frequency manner, to explain how vast and wide the soul is, and why it's so important that we get excited about where we're at and about who we are. It's really, really exciting. And so those renewals and those thresholds will constantly be pressing out. And it is a vibrational press out. It's a vibrational song. It's a vibrational truth with you and source as the soul that you are. Constantly renewing, constantly energizing itself, constantly invigorating itself, constantly in that focus paradigm where you're on your path of source, pressing out. And what's really important now is, because there's so much frenzy, if you will, and distractions in the outside world, if you will, that it's really important that that honoring and that self-care time and that receiving time, so that you're allowing yourself to be really present with source, that you're allowing that path to be your continued focus to press out in the most positive, loving way, because it's so easy to get distracted and pulled away from spirit. And that's the intention of drama and control programs. Those are their intentions. So that's why it is mastery, because it's very simple. It's connecting with who you are within, knowing that it is of service to you, following your soul's destiny. And if you're in that service to you in pure unconditional love, it will always serve the all. It will always serve the all. There will be no, it's constant pressing out in unconditional love. And it's so beautiful. So beautiful. A beautiful light coming in. Yay! Yay, spirit! Yay! So excited. And it's so great because we're breaking out new thresholds. So be okay with not having definitions, no maps. There are no maps. You get to press out, and it's your oneness with spirit every day. Your oneness with spirit every day. Your oneness with Gaia. Your oneness with the full completed breath. Your oneness with constantly renewing your light. Constantly bringing in affirmations, constantly bringing in visualizations, constantly bringing in light and sound and rhythm and pulsations. All of those things activate the cells to create that breaking away of density, and moving beyond. Really moving beyond, stepping out of those cycles that stagnate light. and it becomes clogged. It really does become clogged, and it doesn't feel good at all. The bodies and the cells are meant to keep pressing out and soaring and spreading your wings to fly. That's how we feel our most happiest and joyful. And that's why we're here to set that example for the children. Because the children, absolutely, because they're so dynamically telepathic, they're absolutely able to take on that expressive harmonic and pulsation of beautiful light and joy. And that's why we're here showing them. They need that. They don't need the same cycles that we've been in for eons. That's why we're experiencing many of our collectives energies. We're here to resolve the dynamics that we've placed about how we think, we believe their diagnoses to be, and their behavior and so on. They're a completely different genetic. They're a higher vibrational genetic, and they won't fit within old programs that are stagnant and creatively suppressive. Absolutely. So this is where we really need to press out. We really need to spread our wings. We really need to renew our light. We really need to get ourselves excited. We really need to get that activity going so that that breaking of the density can occur. And those cells actually receive the light that's being offered. See the various light, the vibrational light that is in what we're being offered. And the cells need that. The cells need that for regeneration. The cells need that for renewal. Otherwise, their ascension cannot occur. Health and wellness cannot occur. And we are here to create that. We're here to say, I'm going to stand above and I will break through. I will break through old paradigms. I will break through old cycles. I will sing. I will create that harmonic. I will shine brightly. I will speak my truth. Living in your full soul's truth, renewing of who you are every moment by that daily self-care, aligning with source. What's on your path today? What codes do you need from us? We're here for you. You'll feel that whole universe is supporting you. There's nothing that can stop that. You're the brilliance of who you are as source. So exciting. And so I hope that helps everybody. See you later. Bye. I've got somebody at the door. Bye.